In the 17th century, when Bannockburn House was actually built to replace the old Drummond Hall, Bannockburn House was strongly associated with the Jacobite cause. In terms of the Jacobite armies, they were here in 1745 and 1746 when the keys to Stirling were handed over here at Bannockburn House to Bonnie Prince Charlie. There was an attempt on Bonnie Prince Charlie's life here at Bannockburn House, which he obviously survived, and it was also here that he fell in love with Clementina Walkinshaw, who is a relative of the owner of Bannockburn House. Later on, the house became a centre of the tartan weaving industry in Scotland, where the owners of most of the tartan mills around Bannockburn and Stirling resided here. Following that, there's been a colourful history of Bannockburn House, including an impresario from Glasgow who managed Laurel and Hardy, among many other big acts in the 20s, 30s and 40s. So Bannockburn House has been in private ownership for the 350 years of its existence. In the last 50 or 60 years ago, although it was privately owned, the owners didn't actually live here, and the house became run down and the estate overgrown. So many people, myself included, will have passed by on the road a few hundred yards away, saw the roof of the house, but not actually realised that there was something here that was very significant. When it was going to be put on sale, the local community rallied round, led by local councillors and the Community Council, and the community launched a campaign for acquisition. It was a very short campaign, which was successfully funded by the Scottish Land Fund and helped with by Stirling Council and others. So the local community have owned Bannockburn House since the year 2017. The house is now operated by a community trust. It's got a membership of over 500, around 200 volunteers who help out in the gardens, with events and with helping to rejuvenate the house itself. I think what's important about Bannockburn House being owned by the local community is the fact that for many years, the community have seen Bannockburn House as the big house. It's somewhere where the lairds live. In fact, for hundreds of years, that was the case. Now it's the case that no matter who you are in Bannockburn or the eastern Stirling villages, you own part of this. It's very significant in boosting confidence, but the important thing for us isn't to turn this into a museum that's preserved in aspect. The important purpose of this for us is to make sure that Bannockburn House and the estate act as one of the focuses for regeneration of the local community. So our aim is to create employment opportunities, training opportunities, rejuvenate the gardens, create commercial opportunities in not only in history and heritage, but with cafes and vegetable and fruit production, and the creation of local jobs, local training opportunities for people is very important to us. One of the important areas for consideration by the community trust that owns Bannockburn House is preserving the future of the house for the next 350 years. So we developed a master planning process to look at every aspect of the house and every aspect of the 26-acre estate. So we've developed a plan. It'll take 10 to 15 years to come to fruition, but we've got a phased and timetable costed approach for developing every aspect of the house and its future. The important element for us within that is to balance the heritage with the commercial opportunities that will be able to support us in a sustainable financial way, but most importantly of all, to make a tremendous social impact within the local community. In terms of the future, what we see is the creation of a wide range of opportunities for local people. Now that might be in primary schools coming here to use the grounds and the house for history projects, for environmental projects. It might be opportunities for high school pupils who are maybe not doing too well within a formal academic setting to come here to partake in a different type of learning based on real projects that they can work in a tangible way. For adults who are disengaged from the labour market, it might mean coming here, develop real structured training opportunities. That could be in working in the cafe restaurant that we're planning, it could be in working in the gardens, it could be in horticulture, or it could be in heritage and events management. The wide range of training and employability opportunities is important to us, but equally important to us is ensuring that there's a maximum access for the local community to the house and the estate for events, summer events, Easter events, Christmas events. Our ability to maximise community access to this will ensure our future. The important role that the community plays in shaping the project is in a number of different ways. One, the community company that owns the house and estate has 500 members. Those 500 members elect a board of directors, and that board of directors set the strategy for the staff to work in. But more than that, there's a whole range of engagement exercises that the Trust engages with, not only with its 200 volunteers, its 500 members, but the widespread local community to make sure what the Trust is proposing to do is what the local community both needs and wants. Bannockburn House is a must-see attraction for a whole number of reasons, whether it's the house itself, the estate, or the gardens that we're developing. If you look at the house, we've got some of the finest plaster work in Europe. The plaster work in the ceiling of the Lake Hall, where we are at the moment, was made by two artisans, a Dutchman and an Englishman, in the 1670s. They were the two people who did all the plaster work at Holyrood Palace in Edinburgh and then came to Bannockburn House. So if you're a history aficionado, then come to Bannockburn House, see several hundred years of history in action. It's the home of the Jacobite cause and has strong connections with Bonnie Prince Charlie. So the real tangible history that you can feel here is very important. Other areas apart from former heritage that people have been interested are holding regular events here, whether it's for paranormal nights, which we hold regularly, or Easter events, summer, Christmas events where there's the opportunity for craft work, for art, large-scale photography projects we do here, and a whole range of other events that you would expect in a stately home such as this. Another reason why it's important is our grounds. Magical flora and fauna. We're redeveloping the enclosed garden that we've got, which has great historical significance, and also redeveloping some commercial gardens work as well. So whether you want to come to enjoy the gardens, enjoy a bit of history, enjoy a bit of heritage, then Bannockburn House offers a large amount of opportunities. One of the interesting pieces of work that we've done lately is in letting Bannockburn House out as a film location. We've let it out 3 times as a film location for A-listed Holyrood stars, and also the likes of Douglas Henshaw, who's a famous Scottish actor. These have been feature-length films for Netflix and also for Channel 5. Other areas where we do events would be in ordinary tours, where people can come around and get tours from our local volunteers who form part of the history group, and give opportunities to tell about the history of the house, whether that's the Jacobite history of the house or whether that's the built history of the house. We offer a regular series of tours which give people the opportunity to find all about the heritage and history of the house. The tours are curated by local volunteers who know far, far more about the history of the house than I do. So if you want a peep into 350 years of Scottish history, then come to Bannockburn House and our local volunteers will help show you that history. What we're hoping to do over the next 10 to 15 years within our master plan is develop and refurbish the house in a sympathetic way to the heritage nature of the house. I say sympathetic nature, but we're not going to create a museum where people aren't allowed to touch things. It'll be a real living opportunity for you to come to the house and experience it, perhaps live in it for a couple of nights, perhaps hold weddings here and other events that people would hold in a stately home such as this.